Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Party Popper Historic Achievement. Allyson Felix becomes the only woman to win 3 straight 200-meter world titles. First place medal, United States. The stadium lights glowed, the crowd roared, and the anticipation was electric. On the starting line stood Allyson Felix, calm, composed, and carrying the weight of history on her shoulders. The 200-meter dash has always been one of track and field's most poetic events, a delicate balance of speed, rhythm, and grace. And in this space, on this curve, Allyson Felix had made the impossible seem routine. Tonight, she was not just chasing victory. She was chasing destiny. And when she crossed the line, arms spread, eyes alight with triumph, she had done it. Allyson Felix became the only woman in history to win 3 straight 200-meter world championship titles. The track wasn't just a stage. It was her kingdom, and the world bowed in awe. The road to greatness. Allyson Felix's story is not just about medals. It's about perseverance, reinvention, and grace under pressure. Born in Los Angeles in 1985, Felix grew up in a household built on faith, discipline, and education. Nicknamed Chicken Legs as a child because of her slender frame, few could predict that those legs would one day carry her to global glory. Her rise began in high school, where she stunned coaches with her speed and maturity. By 2003, at just 17 years old, Felix won the World Youth Championships in the 200M, instantly labeled a prodigy. The world had found its next great sprinter, but talent alone never defined her. Felix's career was built on relentless discipline, humility, and a drive to be not just great, but legendary. The first 200-meter world title, Osaka, 2007. The first step in her 200-meter world title streak came in Osaka, Japan, 2007. Felix entered as a favorite, but still had to face rivals like Veronica Campbell-Brown of Jamaica and Sonia Richards, her fellow American. The 200-meter final was stacked, but Felix's performance was nothing short of breathtaking. She exploded off the curve with flawless form and blazed down the straight to clock 21.81 seconds, the fastest time in the world that year. At just 21, she became the youngest woman ever to win the 200-meter world title. It was the beginning of a reign no one could stop. The second 200-meter world title, Berlin 2009. 2 years later, the world gathered in Berlin, and Felix arrived not just as a contender, but as the queen defending her throne. By then, she had matured as an athlete and as a competitor. Every stride was efficient, every race an exhibition of controlled power. The final was tense. Veronica Campbell-Brown, her fiercest rival, was determined to dethrone her, but Felix was unshakable. On the biggest stage, she delivered a masterclass of speed and control, running 22.02 seconds to defend her crown. Her back-to-back 200-meter titles made her the first woman in history to achieve the feat. She smiled modestly after the race, but the world knew they were witnessing history. The third 200-meter world title, Daegu 2011. If Osaka established her greatness and Berlin confirmed her dominance, Daegu 2011 made her a legend. The competition was fierce. Rivals from Jamaica, the Bahamas, and even younger American sprinters were hungry for her crown. The pressure was immense. Critics wondered, can Felix really do it again? The final was a storm. Felix came out of the block strong, gliding through the curve as if the track itself was guiding her. Down the straight, she faced pressure from Campbell-Brown, but Felix surged, pulling away in the last 50 meters. She crossed the line at 21.88 seconds. History was sealed. 3 straight 200-meter world titles. The only woman in history to do so. The technical perfection of Felix. What made Allyson Felix untouchable in the 200M was not brute strength. It was her artistry, the curve mastery. Felix's ability to glide through the bend, maintaining balance and momentum, was unrivaled. Where others fought the curve, she embraced it. The elegant stride, long, fluid strides made her look effortless, even as she burned the track. The finishing surge. In the final 50 meters, Felix had another gear, a weapon no rival could match. Track analysts often said she didn't run the 200M, she painted it. Every race was a canvas of speed, rhythm, and beauty, rivals and respect. Every great champion is defined not only by their victories, but by the rivals who push them. Veronica Campbell-Brown, the Jamaican powerhouse who matched Felix stride for stride. Their duels became the stuff of legend. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. Though more famous in the 100M, Fraser-Price's presence raised the bar for all sprinters. Carmelita Jeter and Sonia Richards, fellow Americans who added layers of competition and camaraderie. Yet even in the fiercest rivalries, Felix commanded respect. She never trash-talked, never boasted. Her performances spoke for themselves. The human side of a champion. Allyson Felix was more than medals. She was a voice, an advocate, and an inspiration. Faith and humility. She always credited God and her family, reminding the world that greatness comes with gratitude, breaking barriers from others in sport. Years later, Felix became an icon off the track, standing against Nike when they tried to cut her sponsorship during pregnancy. She used her platform to fight for maternity protections for female athletes. Role model. For young girls, Felix represented more than speed. She embodied strength, elegance, and resilience. Her 3 200-meter world titles were not just about winning. They were about proving that women could dominate, inspire, and lead in every arena. The legacy of the Triple Crown. Winning 1 200-meter world title is extraordinary. Winning 2 is rare. Winning 3 in a row? Unthinkable. Felix's achievement cemented her as the definitive queen of the 200M. To this day, no woman has matched her streak. Her Triple Crown is a monument to consistency. Year after year, against younger rivals, she stayed on top. Longevity. From 2007 to 2011, Felix was untouchable. Greatness under pressure. In finals, with the world watching, she delivered perfection. Impact on the sport. Felix's dominance in the 200M reshaped track and field. Inspiration. Countless sprinters, from Sha'Carri Richardson to Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, cite Felix as their hero. Visibility for women's track. Felix's elegance and dominance brought global attention to women's sprinting. USA sprint legacy, alongside legends like Florence Griffith Joyner and Marion Jones before scandal. Felix carried the American sprint tradition forward. Her 3 titles are not just an individual achievement. They are a chapter in the global story of track and field. The birthday of history. The night Felix won her 3rd title in Daegu, the world celebrated. The legend lives on. Allyson Felix's career would go on to span 5 Olympic Games, 11 Olympic medals, and 18 World Championship medals. The most decorated female track and field athlete in history. But amidst all her triumphs, her 3 straight 200-meter world titles stand apart. They represent her peak, her perfection, her reign as the greatest curve runner the sport has ever seen. Today, as fans and fellow athletes celebrate her historic achievement, one truth echoes louder than all the applause. Allyson Felix is not just a champion. She is a legend, and the 200M will forever be her kingdom. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.